everyone, Sarah here from the YA Room, and today I'm here with another video for our spectacular month of Love Oz YA goodness. In case you don't already know, this month we are celebrating everything Love Oz YA. We're talking about the books we've read, the books we'll be reading, we've got a bingo challenge, everything is happening and it's going to be amazing. It's almost a week into December, so we are busy tackling those bingo challenge TBRs and reading all the Love Oz YA we can get. But today I want to share with you the Love Oz YA that I have on my shelf that I haven't read yet. I've chosen some of these books to read for the bingo challenge, but these are just a whole ton that I've had for ages and just haven't had the chance to read yet. So I'm going to share them with you. So without further ado, here is the massive stack of Love Oz YA novels that I have on my shelves and I haven't read. Yeah, it's a problem. I have about 400 unread books on my shelves and I'm not going to stop buying books anytime soon, so this is what happens. I just have a whole ton that's unread. It's normal. It's a normal life of a book blogger. So the first book on my massive stack is Cloud Wish by Fiona Wood. I recently read a book that she co-wrote with two other Aussie authors called Take 3 Girls, and I absolutely loved it. I also read another one of her early novels, but I haven't had a chance to get around to this one. So many people have told me how amazing this book is, including my friend Wendy, and I know Wendy, I will get onto it soon, I promise. I really need to read this book. It's going to be amazing, I know it. I just need to find the time to sit down and read it, along with those other 400 books. Yep. The next book I have is My Sister Rosa by Justine Labalestia. I don't know about you, but I love those really creepy books. I'm all about Halloween, I love those spooky vibes, and My Sister Rosa sounds like the perfect book for me. All I know about this book is that there is a slightly creepy younger sister. She's a little bit murderous, maybe she's a Slytherin like me. But yeah, it sounds like a really cool book and I definitely want to try and read it soon. Next up, I have The Protected by Claire Zorn. I recently read one of her other books called One Would Think the Deep, and that one was spectacular, so I don't doubt this one will be just the same. Next up, I have this tiny novel called Sky, which sounds amazing. It has a dog on the cover, so that is an instant win for me, and also it's about animal cruelty, and that's a topic that I don't think we see enough of in YA. This is a Love Oz YA book that isn't that well known, but I've heard a few good things about it, so I'm definitely wanting to give it a go soon. Next up, I have The Incredible Adventures of Cinnamon Girl by Melissa Keel. This is the only book by this author that I haven't read yet, but I adored her other two, Life in Outer Space and The Secret Science of Magic. I know this book is going to be phenomenal and I bought it so that she could sign at the launch, which was amazing. Melissa is such a bae. And I know it's going to be just as incredible as the title denotes. So yeah, this one is really high on my Love Oz YA TBR. Next up, I have another book by Justine Labalestia called Razorhurst. This is another creepy one and I'm like, yes! It's about Sydney and mob bosses and murder and I am just ready to read this book. I'm so excited. I know that Halloween has passed and we're like meant to be reading festive Christmassy books, but it's never too late for this. I am ready. I want to read this book right now. And then I have Graffiti Moon by Kath Crowley, and literally everyone I talk to loves this book. It is one of the Love Oz YA books that authors and readers alike can't stop raving about, and I just really have to read it soon. Kath's other book, Words in Deep Blue, is one of my favorite Love Oz YA novels of all time, and I've heard just as amazing things about this one. So yeah, definitely very high on my TBR. Next up, I have In Between Days by Vicky Wakefield. I read one of Vicky's other books called Ballad for a Mad Girl at the start of the year, and it was just phenomenal. I've heard fantastic things about Vicky's other books, and I saw her at a panel a few months ago, and she is just the loveliest person ever. So I definitely really need to get around to reading this one soon. The next book I have here is Frankie and Jolie by Nova Wheatman. If I'm guessing correctly, I think this book is about a road trip, and if you know me, you know I love road trip books. There's something so Australian about road trip books and small towns, and this is just going to be such a great Love Oz YA read. I can already feel it. The next book on my pile is Breathing Underwater by Sophie Hardcastle. I was lucky enough to meet Sophie last year in Sydney, and she is just the sweetest author ever. Not long after I met Sophie, I read her autobiography called Running Like China, and that was phenomenal. So I don't doubt this one will be just as good. If I remember correctly, it's about surfing and grief and siblings, and it just sounds like an amazing read that I definitely have to get onto soon. Next up, I have these two books by Marlena Marchetta, and I really need to read them soon. I know everyone is probably yelling at me. I know! People like Floss the Fangirl and Siobhan Plaza have been yelling at me for years to read these books. I'm going to go and hide now. Okay, bye. So yes, these books need to read. The next book I have here is Girl Defective by Simone Howell, and she was also an author who wrote Take 3 Girls. This book is set in St Kilda, which is really close to the suburb I live in, and this book has been on my TBR for years. I just really need to get around to reading it. I really do. The second to last book I have on my pile is Unpolished Gem by Alice Pung. I absolutely adored her book Lorinda and her short story in the Love Oz YA anthology, and I just really need to read this one. I think this book is an autobiography, and it's about how Alice's parents came to Australia and what it was like for Alice to grow up here. It sounds really interesting, and I'm always looking for Aussie nonfiction to add to my bookshelves. And finally, the last book I have here is The Love Interest by Cale Dietrich. This is one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and I'm so excited to finally read it this month. It's about spies and queer boys, and it just sounds like my ideal book. I'm just so excited to get into it. So yeah, this is the massive stack of Love Oz YA books that I need to read. I'm hoping to get through a big chunk of them this month, and I will definitely be sharing my thoughts with you. That's it from me today, and now I would love to hear from you. What have you been reading this Love Oz YA month? Are you participating in our bingo, and how far are you along with it? Have you read any of the books that I've mentioned? I'd love to know. Bye everyone!